So, hello everyone. My name is Michal. Not Michel, please. I'm not French, of French origin. You can call me Michael if you want. And I got a mic. Thanks.
If you want to move around, you should.
Better now? Or just for recording? Okay. I'm a web developer. Any web developers around? Who's developing stuff and signing up? Just you?
It's not yet.
Cool. So, something about me. I was working as a developer since, say, 2000. I was working for Skype the last 5.5 years, and I'm taking a sabbatical. And I would like to show you some stuff. You know, there has been a lot of talks about data leaks and hacks around RockU and LinkedIn and stuff like this. But there's also small hacks every day going on. And there's also small data leaks which could actually put a lot of users of the website into the danger. So I would like to show you really poor man hacking things using just a web browser, nothing else. Which actually is kind of interesting, at least for me, because you don't need any special hardware, nothing else. So let's go on. There is a small website in Czech Republic, which is actually a retail store. They don't sell much online. They just do mainly offline stuff. I mean, they just have stores, physical stores, and they are selling outdoor wear. It's this website. And last year I was hired to do reviews of some websites for some competition. I was not doing any review of security stuff. I was not just hired to review this website. I got a list of websites and I should score them, and I have to score them. I was also checking some small details like robots.txt, files missing, if it's missing or not. And some of the files actually they revealed a lot of interesting stuff. This website, the robots.txt file was actually consisting of these lines. So I said, let's have a look at these characters. They were all really interesting. The most interesting one was the 10th one, of course. The Atom is actually the company who built the website, so they got some temporary stuff there. And one of the files, it was funny, one of the files was actually downloaded to the database. So, you know, I got some data and I didn't even need to hack them. It was kind of legal, almost legal. So, in the database now, there were like, it was a really small database, probably nobody's buying online on the website, but still, there was like 300 something usernames, including their emails, including their passwords, and some purchase history and stuff like this. The password, somebody tried to hide them, at least a bit, but they used this secure hash algorithm, SHA-1, but with no solve. I said, okay, well, I was too lazy, really too lazy. I didn't want to download Hashcat, I didn't want to do anything, I just wanted to do passwords, nothing else. So I said, okay, there must be some online tool which can actually, crack them online for me. So I googled a bit for a while and found this breakstation.net. Anyone around knows this one? Yes, cool. So they are doing the dictionary effects online, so you just input some hashes there. They got a captcha there so that you can actually load all your hashes at once. You just need to go by the batches of 10. So I just used this tool because I was really lazy. It was Sunday afternoon. I was like, okay, I don't need to download anything. You just took the hashes, to use this online tool, and what I got was actually really, really nice. I got 111 cracked passwords only out of this breakstation.net. They are using some really huge dictionaries. They say that they are using some 190 gigabytes of text actually for MP5 and for SHA-1. So I got 111 cracked passwords out of 300 user accounts, just in half an hour or so. So that was kind of cool. Some of the passwords which were cracked, which were coming out of the breakstation.net, were these ones. These are not really words, except the last one. This is a village somewhere in Czech Republic in the middle of nowhere. So if you look at these words, this is not a dictionary anymore. if you see like B1LL3D, I'm not really sure if that's a word in any language in the world. And probably this password is also like, we've got six characters, it's got uppercase letters, lowercase letters, it's got some numbers, so probably it will validate it some website. And it's actually in the dictionary. So I said, okay, I get some passwords, now what? So I said, okay, some of the emails, probably people are using the passwords. So let's try it. I just wanted to see the number of actually if people are really doing that. So I said, let's try it. There is a website which is called Seznam.cz. Seznam is like a list in English. And this kind of popular in Czech Republic. It's probably more popular than Google. It's kind of interesting. It's probably the only country where Google is not the most popular one. It's something like Yandex in Russia, something like that. So it's a kind of big website, or they are offering search, they are offering emails and stuff like this, just like Google, but it's not Google. So I said, okay, let's try that. Out of these 111 correct passwords, 52 were for the users, which got the email set for this Seznam.cz website. So I tried to log into every single one of them. I do it manually because I didn't want to write anything. I just said, okay, let's just copy paste the passwords and let's see. I got some passwords. I got into some of the email boxes, and you guess how much, or into how many?
52.
No, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Any other guess?
30.
Okay, who thinks that it was less than 10? Okay, me, because it was 9. it was just 9, but it's still probably 9 more than it should be, right? So I said, okay, we got 9 passwords for the only website, for the only service. But I also tried some other services. Email.cz, they're offering some email stuff, and Sentence.cz as well. So these numbers are, you see, two successful logins out of 9, and I also got 1 Gmail account out of 15. That was kind of interesting because I was using Tor so that they don't detect my original IP, and Google detected that, hey, you are trying to sign in from a really unusual location. So give us something more than just your password and username. They wanted a phone number of that guy who I was trying to log in for. But I didn't know that, of course. So I said, hey Google, maybe you know that already, right? So I just took the email, gave it to Google, and he gave me the phone number. So why the hell he wants it if he already knows that? So this was really pointless, but yeah, so this was still a successful login for Gmail. Sometime after, I re-verified all these passwords like 6 months later, because this was already some time ago. I re-verified all these passwords sometime later, 6 months later, like last week, and actually none of these guys has changed the password, which is really strange. Because I remember that I notified the company who built the website, that I told them that, hey, you should probably reset the password for all your users. They just didn't tell them. Yeah.
Was there any sort of notification to those users that they need?
Yeah, I told the company who built the website that they should probably tell their customers or their users that they should change it. But
did that occur?
Huh?
Did that actually occur?
That's a good question. I probably know the answer, and it's not. Because they were not really happy that I told them, but probably they didn't tell their users for some reason. I don't know why. I also tried to use. Last week I said also we got the passwords for some users, and I said, okay, let's try some more advanced techniques than just the browser. So I downloaded this hashcat tool, you know that, right? I guess. And I didn't have any special hardware. I had the laptop, and I didn't want to, buy all the GPUs and stuff like this. So I said, okay, let's try it really on like commodity hardware. Let's just try it at home on a simple laptop. It was some Lenovo X220 something. So I just ran the hashcat. It doesn't have any graphic card, so it was just some Intel built-in something. But still, I got 160 more passwords out of the hashcat, which was running for a week or so. I didn't need the laptop, so I said, okay, let's just leave it running here. I disabled the power saving mode and everything, so it was actually working as a heater in my place. So I got 160 more passwords, but only 2 of them were actually reused for the email boxes. I was kind of sad, but it doesn't really matter. So I was thinking about how we developers can actually, tell the users that they shouldn't reuse the password. And I got the idea. If you look at this sign up page, Twitter, right? So this is for Twitter, and just look at the forum. They're asking for your full name, for email and password. Maybe some of the users think that the password is not the new password that they should invent at the time, but maybe they think that, okay, they want my email and they want my password for the email, because it says that, right? It is email and password. So probably my mother or my father wouldn't do that, but I guess that many of the other users would just put their password for the email because that's what they are asking for. So maybe we as developers should somehow change the way, or the designers should somehow change the way of the forms so it asks for the new password, not the password for the email. Maybe. I don't have any numbers because it's just like, I really don't know. Or maybe you should try it. So I got a small exercise, but since you are not developers, then it might not be as successful as the last time I was doing this presentation. I think that half of the developers, they are actually storing the passwords in a really wrong way. And which one, which half, which of you. So I got the exercise that right now each of you turn your head right, and that's the guy who is storing the password in a bad way. Since you're not the developers, then it might not be as good as the last time. So, and if you are sitting at the end, you just turn your head around. So, we are talking about storing your passwords in a bad way in the databases. So, which one are the bad ways? One of them is in readable form. It's the simplest thing because you just store the password which you get from the form and just put it in the database and then you just compare it. And it's really simple. You don't need to care about hashes because you are not hashing anything. You can't actually use the wrong hashing method because you are not using any method for hashing the passwords. So it's really simple, it's really nice. And if you actually want to log in for, you get a request for customer support and you want to log in as some different user because they got some issues, so you just read the password from the database and you just log in as that user. And it's kind of nice. But no, that's not really a good idea. There are some better ideas. No, not these ones. Some of the users have seen the idea in the initial case that they probably heard about some hashing. So they are trying to use some MD5 or CRC30 and stuff for hashing passwords. This is good for verifying the integrity of the DVD your friend has sent to you over the internet. If it's got all the frames correct or if the pixel in the right corner is actually correct or not. So these also aren't really good things for hashing passwords, as you have seen in the initial case. Also, if you are just lazy and you don't know about any online cracking stuff like TrackStation, you just take the hash and you just give it to Google, and sometimes Google will just give it passwords right in the search page or in the listings. You just don't need to even go to that site. You just get it right in that page. So that's also one way of cracking passwords using Google. But there are some other guys who are doing it in a more advanced way.
Do you have rights to use that?
I don't know why they got so many GPUs there, probably hardcore gaming or something. And they don't stop.
Someone follows.
They just get more GPUs. That's nice, that's good.
That was a fun day.
Yeah. So if you don't have any access to the online tools like TrackStation, just build your own. Okay, so there's another way. Multiple hashing. You can just write it like this, right? It's just a copy paste, but it's also not really a good idea. So no, just don't do it this way. Because you would probably need like several hundred times to hash the password and AMP, because MD5 and all that is actually quite fast. So even if you just do it 20 times, it doesn't really help. So one of the rules is that we need a really slow hashing function. Not that slow, I mean slightly faster than this, but slow hashing function. Also, probably some of the developers have heard about some salt. They say that, okay, we just put the salt there into the password and just hash it using MD5 or so on, and it should be better. But no, also, because this actually, the salt doesn't actually, slow down the hashing speed. If you use brute force, it's still the same speed. So salt is for something else, just for if you find one hash in the database for the user, and some other user have the same password, so they have a different hash. That's what salt's for. So maybe there are some other things like this hash message something. That should be slightly slower because you use slower hashing function, you use salt, so it might look like a great idea. But maybe some of you guys are thinking that it should be okay, but I actually haven't seen this one using this hash message something. So now also it's not a great idea. One of the greatest hashing algorithms is low-pitch hashing, I guess. Because the thing with this algorithm is that it's kind of slow, or you can actually set the speed for this algorithm so that it scales with your hardware. If you buy new servers, you just make it slower slightly, and still the old hashes will still work. And the only problem with low-pitch hashing in PHP, for example, is that try to hash it with a function which is called crypt. It's not really straightforward. So, and also, if you want to hash using low-pitch hashing using this function, you just need to do some black magic and start the salt with this $sign to $y something. So it's not really straightforward. So that's probably the reason why nobody in PHP is doing that. And also there are more tricks. You can use 2a and 2x. So in PHP there are more ways of using this low-pitch script, low-pitch hashing, and just this one is right because they have screwed up something. So 2a and 2x are not really great ones as well. In PHP 5.5, there are finally, after 20 years of PHP in the world, there are finally some nice functions for doing password hashing and password verifying. Finally, it's called password hash because it's for hashing passwords, and password verify because it's for verifying hashes. So finally, and they are actually, you don't need to specify any hashing algos, nothing like that. It just uses low-pitch hashing as a predefined algorithm, which is really nice. So finally, in 2013, we got something like that. Also, you can use script and this pbkdf2. But in PHP, that's a real problem because script is not really implemented in PHP. There is some extension, but nobody knows if it doesn't have any timing issues. In pbkdf2, it's in the PHP 5.5 finally, but if you got low-pitch hashing there, I'm not really sure why would you use that. So probably I would use script if that would be available in PHP. Like natively, without any extension, without any timing issues, and then this backgrade, and then pbkdf2 if needed. Storing password or hashing them or hashing passwords, it's not the only important thing. Because if you store the passwords into the database in the correct form, they are hashed and they are hashed using flow functions and everything. But if you can sign in using the username, which is apostrophe or one or something like that, if you got the SQL injection in the website, it doesn't really matter how the passwords are stored. So it's not just about storing passwords. And also, it's not just about logging using SQL injection. Your website could be perfectly protected, but if you, for example, serve your login forms over the HTTP, not the HTTPS, that might also create some issues. The website could be perfectly secure. You can use slow hashing algorithms and stuff like this for the passwords. But if you serve your login forms or if you submit your forms over plain HTTP, then you might have some issues as well. So there might be some guy next door who is trying to eavesdrop on your connections, so they will get your passwords as well. Passwords should be submitted over HTTPS, but also the login forms should be loaded over HTTPS. just because if you load the login form for HTTP, then you are not really sure which form are you loading to your browser. And yeah. Also, I've seen some guys who are trying to send the password after registration over email. They might be storing the passwords correctly, hashing them, and websites could be perfectly secure, but they just send you the password over email or via email if you register or if you even reset the password. That's also nice because the password isn't traveling over the internet in the plain text, and all this, probably most of the mail servers are not really encrypted in the world. That's just not really a good idea. Just don't send the password if people are trying to register at your website, or even if they are resetting the password. And if you are resetting the password for them, just don't send them, or just don't generate them any password and don't send them via email. Don't send the password via email to the users, because that's like also you generate a random password and you send it over internet, which is not really encrypted. It's stored somewhere in the email clients, and it's stored in the Google clients and anywhere in the world. So even if you hash it correctly, you can store it correctly, your website is protected, no vulnerabilities, then still you get the issue if you send it over the email. So I guess that's enough from me. Still at the time limit, so if you get any questions, you can ask me, or you can just find me an email, or tweet me, or do whatever you want. So if you got any questions, just you can ask me.
I was just wondering, it's not a huge sample, so we don't know, but I found it interesting that the passwords that were the easiest to crack were the most likely to be reused.
You mean, yeah.
So...
Yeah. Where is it? You mean this, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So the ones that you actually had to use Hashcat on were also the ones that were less.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting for me as well. I was like, why the hell I was running for a week? Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
What needs to happen for bcrypt, scrypt, BBK, DF2 to become more easily used by developers, not just with PHP?
The issue in the PHP was probably that if you wanted to hash a password and you were looking in the documentation for password hashing, something like that, you couldn't even find a function for it. PHP's got a function for everything, right? Except password hashing until now.
So how does that compare with other languages like Ruby or Python?
Probably, that's a good question. I don't know.
So
I don't know much.
So what needs to happen for this to be like a standard part of the library?
Probably we should drop all the tutorials which were written until now and rewrite them, because all of them are talking about MD5 without salt or show on without salt. So probably these tutorials needs to be dropped. We just should erase all the internet starting it.
We need to share Google's cache.
Definitely.
Yeah. And make some filters.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So I don't know. Probably more like talking about why it's important. That's what I'm trying to do. Just show the examples why it's so easy to actually crack the password. And even if it's a small sample, it's like 300 users. Then it's really important because some of your friends, because it's a local website, and I got my friends, and some of my friends might have friends which I have a password for right now. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Do you think that encouraging web developers who we know can't create or store passwords correctly using anyway, do you think encouraging them to use federated login services would be a way forward?
Maybe. But somebody needs to write that login services still, right?
Just as we don't write our own encryption algorithms, not writing our own authentication frameworks.
I would think that it's probably better because you don't need to care about logging and everything. It's your own, or it's your local site, or you don't have the issues yourself. But you're actually trying to delegate the issues to someone else. So your users might be in danger as well because you are trying to use third-party services with everything which comes with it.
Yeah.
So that might be the issue as well. But if you don't know, if the web developers don't know how to correctly write the hashing functions or something, they probably should better, use the other services.
Okay, well, thank you to the colleague.